bringing onto our stage next our group representing Arts DAO. Please put your hands together for Danosch Zahedi and Bhurtun. How you doing? I've kept them warm for you.
They're awesome.
I'm expecting two. There you are, two of you. Excellent. And if you switch them on video, yeah, at the bottom. Here, flick it on like that. Try now.
Hello, how's it going, everybody?
Yo. Very welcome, guys. Thank you for waiting. And sorry for the delay. We actually thought we were presenting at the other stage. But happy to have finally found you guys.
We don't talk about the other stage.
No, exactly. Thank you, Max, for preparing this stage so well and warming it up. So our power names, I would say my power name is the Crypto Sheikh. You can find me on Instagram and
Ananas BRB on Instagram for me if you're interested. Also on Twitter. Both of us are the co-founders of Arts DAO. We represent and run the largest Web3 NFT community here in the Middle East. And we actually wanted to take the time today to talk to you guys about what it means and what it takes to build a successful community in the crypto space. If you are a founder looking to launch a crypto Web3 startup, community building is an essential ingredient to being successful in the space. So,
and I can tell you, it's not a walk in the park. It's not as easy as some people think. Community management is a very challenging task because at the end of the day, it's almost like building up a family. You're gonna have some black sheep in the family, and you're gonna know how to, raise the culture and raise the family in such a way so that you keep everything together.
So a little bit about us. Both of us have been in crypto for a while. So I guess the question is, why are we qualified to talk to you guys about this topic? A little bit about me. I used to be a crypto lawyer. I practiced law in London and Dubai across mergers and acquisitions, banking, finance. But more recently, I did a lot of crypto law. So I worked with the likes of Coinbase, Binance, Circle, Fireblocks, FTX, even Axie Infinity. What I did was the fiat to crypto arrangement, but also a lot of commercial arrangements around NFTs, digital assets, all the works. I'm originally from Mauritius, but I was born and raised in Taiwan, and I've worked in London and Dubai. And so, yeah, that's a bit about me.
And my name is Danosch. So as you can see, I haven't had as many sexy crypto companies on my CV, but I started in the space around 5 years ago, back in 2016. Started as an investor. I actually wanted to start investing in Bitcoin back in 2013, but my wife decided that I shouldn't do that because I had already burned so much money on gold. Now, fast forward around 10 years, we have now built what's now called Arts DAO. It's a community we built from the ground up. We're focusing on metaverse projects, and the community is full of people fascinated about NFTs, fascinated about the metaverse, and people that want to build projects in this space.
So I want to contextualize this discussion, all right? You may have seen that this week, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, which was put together by Yuga Labs, raised $450 million through VCs at a valuation of $4 billion. So it's an outstanding raise, given that the Bored Ape Yacht Club was launched in May 2021. So in less than 12 months, they have reached a valuation of $4 billion. This is unprecedented, in my view, in the history of fundraising and community and business building, right? Also, we saw Artifact get acquired by Nike, right? The first time a major studio in the NFT space getting acquired by a major brand, by Nike. You can see here the Nike symbols. Artifact is now a part of the Nike portfolio. If you go on the Nike website, you'll see the Artifact symbol. This is unprecedented again. A metaverse project issuing avatars being acquired. This has changed the game because prior to this, Web3, the NFT space, it wasn't seen as a medium for attracting mainstream capital, right? But that's changed now. We've seen with Nike coming in, there are many people now thinking we're going to see consolidation in the market. We're going to see bigger players enter, the likes of Gucci, Prada. And it's interesting to see what's going to happen from there?
And it's quite interesting. Artifact is an interesting story. So we followed Artifact right from the beginning. I think it was back in March or April. We saw them do their drop for their sneakers, the Metaverse sneakers. And we were like, wow, this is a cool project, but why would someone want to buy sneakers that are not real? Why would someone pay $3,000 for a pair of sneakers that are digital? So we followed them from a very close distance, and we saw that the project sold out. They had massive success. And we know the team behind Artifact very closely because they're part of our community. And we saw them then take that experience and grow into this metaverse-ready avatar project. And a year later, or less than a year later, they sold to Nike for $100 million. So that's the speed at which you can generate this type of profits if you're able to build and rally community around your idea.
So, yeah. So the big question here is, what does it take to build a successful metaverse Web3 company, right? And it comes down to community, right? Community represents, I would say, almost 80% of the value of a strong metaverse Web3 company. All these metaverse projects you may be seeing sprouting left, right, and center, they have zero value if they have no community behind them. Let's talk about these two projects in particular. The Bored Ape Yacht Club. Why do people like the Bored Ape Yacht Club? Well, it's the most exclusive private members club in the world right now, right? If you are to become a member, it costs approximately $350,000. How many people can afford that to become a member of this community, right? So
I just want to add to that. So why does it cost so much to own a Bored Ape? Well, they started with building the community very strongly. About a year ago, you had all these Bored Ape holders, and they were sitting on Twitter, they were sitting on Discord, and they were joining these AMAs, and they were joining these clubhouse spaces, and people were doing animal sounds, ape sounds, and people just having fun talking about NFTs. And they managed to build a very strong, solid, and tight-knit community around their brand. And as they did that, they got more followings, and now you have celebrities like Justin Bieber, Madonna, basketball players from the NBA, just aping into the Bored Apes.
Yeah, so that's really important, right? Bored Apes focus very much on building for their community. If you followed what happened this past few weeks, they actually released a coin called ApeCoin, where they rewarded their community consistently, okay? This is actually pretty key. When you have somebody who supports you from the beginning, and they're holding for you all the way, the best part of keeping that community member happy is rewarding them, right? So Bored Apes, people who minted Bored Apes were able to later get the MAYC, the mutant ape, for free, or they were able to mint it, right? Which added even more portfolio sort of addition to what they were having. Then when the Ape coin was released, effectively they were gifted free $75,000 to $100,000. So being a part of this community has been one of the most financially rewarding aspects ever in the NFT space. If you had bought a Bored Ape for $200 last year, you would have made close to $700,000 if you had been holding today, between all the drops that came through. That, to me, is effective community building, right? Rewarding your community members, attracting more community people to be part of it. You know, that's to me what makes this project now worth it's a $4 billion company now as a result. I also want to just highlight here something more contextually relevant. You can see here, this is the Twitter profile of Ali Sajwani, it's more contextually here, the general manager of Damak Holdings. You can see he's a Clonex, right? So the point I'm trying to make here is people who are in the space want to be part of the right communities, because the right communities have value. When they have value, they attract the right people, and people want to be in the same kind of environment so that they can connect with those kinds of people, right? That's one core element to building a strong community. Now, let's move forward. I want to talk about the core tenets in the space. If you want to be a successful Web3 entrepreneur, you need to understand Twitter, you need to understand Discord, and now we're going to talk about this more, you need to also understand creating in real life events as well. So there's an online aspect and there's an offline aspect. And one of the most valuable people in your team is going to be the community manager. Often,
Shout out to Zayan, our community manager over here.
the thing is, being a community manager is not easy because it means you have to manage. You know, if your community is 18,000 people or even 2,000 people, it means having an eye on that community, managing them, being able to do it across multiple mediums. It's not easy at all.
Yeah, so I would say the tool in itself is not the important ingredient here. We actually started with WhatsApp. That's how we started building our community. So the tool is important once you want to scale, but if you just want to get started, it's about bringing people together for a certain cause, and we'll get into exactly how we did that.
So how did we build our community? All right, these are examples of projects and artists that have emerged in the Arts DAO community. You can see we have Artifact there because we actually had the CTO of Artifact in our community. Little Heroes, we had, who's a
Paradise
famous
Trippies.
Yeah, Paradise Trippies. Idris's
Polyverse.
So these are various different brands. That's Christel Bashara, Yuga. These projects, right, they germinated in our community because we were actively connecting with these people, bringing them together, and we hosted events to allow these people to connect on a constant basis, okay? These events solidified relationships, right? I'm just talking about it in real life kind of aspect right now, which then also led to partnerships happening between these different events, right? A key way to grow a community, especially if you're on Discord, right, is to leverage the power of other communities. Because we had the Artifact community here in our community, what happened was various people within our community started buying clones, right? Clones, if I own a clone, you might have seen in the very beginning, I represented myself as a clone. I mean, Ali Sajwani, who's, again, the Damak GM, he has a clone. This is free marketing for Artifact, right? Artifact doesn't have to pay these people to market their brand. Their community members are marketing the brand for them for free. So the best kind of Web3 company leverages the power of community to get them to do a lot of the hard work for you.
Yeah.
Right?
So I would say community is key, and it goes well along with the whole idea of Web3. Web3 is interconnected, it's decentralized. You don't have a central entity that builds the demand for you. By building the community, you get access to all these companies. So for example, today, Artifact posted about our event on their Instagram page, and they have loads of, like a huge following. So by building this network, this completely decentralized network, and giving value back to the community will emerge, and I think the future organizations, that's why you see a lot of DAOs being built out. The future organizations will be built in a completely different way, where the organizations are completely decentralized, and the value will come from the network.
Yeah, one point on this. Why are community members incentivized to rally behind you, right? Well, in the old world, in Web 2, you couldn't really own any asset of that company, right? Let's say you're a member of Instagram. You post on Instagram. When you post on Instagram, all you get is likes. You don't get actual returns on those posts, right? Because you're not really part of anything that Instagram has. In Web 3, the product is often an instrument that allows your community member to also partake in the gains and financial returns that the company itself is also making, right? That's how you build fantastic communities often, because yes, it's all well and good to have fun, but even more important is also that financial incentive. And people are going to be financially incentivized even more when they're holding projects, right, that are going up as that project accrues value over time, all right? So that's the key to ensuring that you have that. Okay, so how do you really do it as well, right? So I've got Twitter here in Discord. Twitter is essential. We're at a Metaverse conference, right? We're at a Metaverse World Conference. I would argue that Right now, there's no real metaverse happening just yet because VR isn't as progressed as we would expect. But we do have Twitter and we do have Discord, right? And these two mediums is where the Web3 community congregates now. To get value, you have to often give value first. This may be in the form of Twitter Spaces. Rug Radio is famous for running one of the most famous, Twitter Space with a lot of people all the time. He's always giving alpha, giving value, talking, educating. That's how you get people to want to be a part of your community, because you're giving value for free first so that they can get something from you. That incentivizes them to want to be part of what you're building.
Exactly. So if you wanna build a strong community, what you have to always bear in mind is how can I give as much value to other people as possible. So when we started about a year ago, we started actually by creating the Crypto Shakes podcast. And the whole idea of the podcast was to educate the masses about crypto, NFT, and metaverse. So we wanted to not only educate our friends, because they were asking us a lot of questions, but also educate the mainstream to bring the adoption into the space. And Twitter is an excellent example of a great tool to use to build your community. Now, Twitter has always been very, at the forefront of Web3. You can even tip your favorite people by using crypto. And this whole idea of Twitter Spaces came as an answer to Clubhouse, because Clubhouse was taking a lot of eyeballs off of Twitter and other social medias. And they have a lot of interesting ideas in their pipeline. That's why I'm a strong believer that Twitter, if they continue this way, they will be very successful in this space. And Twitter is all about, it's not like Instagram, it's not visual. It's all about, what value can you bring to other people.
Yeah. Then of course you have Discord. Discord is a bit of a mess for some people, but properly understood, it is an incredible tool for managing large communities because you have different kind of chats. Anybody here use Slack? It's kind of like a bigger form of, kind of like a Slack, but for a larger community, right? Through Discord, I think some of the most, if you're running a Web3 company, you're going to probably have to reward whoever's running your Discord a lot because they're doing a lot of work to manage the various people in there, talking with them. Me and Danosch, for example, every day, the first thing I do is I jump into our Discord at ArtsDAO. I say hello to everybody. What's going on? I chat with these people, that people. That's the work that you have to put in constantly, every day, right? You cannot just be building community sort of by going to events like this. You have to be putting in the work in the digital space every single day, right? It's non-stop, 24 hours. Okay. Let's talk about the in real life events. How we have changed this in a way.
So how many people in here has actually been to real life NFT meetup? All right, so a few people, but you haven't been to the ArtsDAO meetups because they're very different. So our meetups, we bring together the best minds in the space. We bring together, local sheikhs. We bring together founders, artists, collectors, and we gather them around one cause, and our parties are epic. So one event that we hosted at the Arts Club, we actually hosted Gary Vee. So I think a lot of you are familiar with Gary Vee. We had him on the roundtable discussion, invited the members of our community to sit down and have an intimate 1-hour discussion about the metaverse. Another event which we did was we rented out Arts Club, a private members club here in Dubai. We rented out the whole 3rd floor and hosted a meetup for our community. And this picture down here, this was in January. We rented out the yacht. We brought the whole community together. And everyone didn't look like on the picture, but everyone was having a blast. And they were like, when's the next one? When's the next one?
So we host these events every month. Having these kinds of events is, people ultimately, they want this. They don't just want to be part of a community where they can talk to. They also want to meet people. They want to talk to people. They want to grow their network. So in our view, we've decided to do this with ArtsDAO to become, and I believe that's what's been the success behind ArtsDAO in becoming the #1 and the largest NFT community here in the Middle East. We're running low on time, so I just want to talk to you a little bit about what we're building. So because the ArtsDAO community is becoming we're building a membership here. We're also doing a drop, the Eternal Gates collection, which is done in collaboration with Christelle Bashara. She's the one over here.
It's being dropped on the 30th of April, so it's in about a month's time from now.
Yeah. But she produces non-avatar projects at all because she's a fine artist. We wanted to create this as a way to solidify the community that we have here. This community will become a DAO, which will be effectively a foundation offering grants to creatives in the Middle East. So we're going to nurture an ecosystem of NFT, Web3, and other projects through our foundation, the DAO. We're running low on time, as that's us, but we wanted to close off here. I want to thank you guys for your time.
Yeah, please,
if you're interested in learning more about ArtsDAO, feel free to scan this, or you can find us on ArtsDAO on Instagram, Crypto Shakes Podcast, if you're interested in learning more about crypto. You can follow also arts_DAO on Twitter. But if you scan this, you'll get all the details you need.
We also have a website, artsdao.io, which will be ready in 2 days.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a blast.